am Orlando Jones, and I just want you to know that the Moana Nui podcast will be starting soon. Stay tuned, yo.
I'm Veronica Taylor, and from myself and Ash Ketchum, I just want to say, Moana Nui, I choose you!
Hello, people. Welcome to another episode of Moana Nui After Dark's Whatcha Watchin. So today we are doing The Color Purple, and I am very excited to get this started. I have a great bunch of people on here to, discuss this movie. For me personally, I think it was amazing. Of course, there's some parts in there that may be too, I guess, triggering for a lot of people, but that's part of the artistry, right? So I also wanted to personally thank Joy for giving me the inspiration. I stay in her inbox, with inappropriate memes and just laughter. so, so I don't know how it started, Joy. I know we were discussing something random in Color Purple, and we just had a, real heart to heart about it, right?
We really did. Like, I think it started with a comment on your review on your page. And I was like, dare I say I like this better than the original? I dare. And then we went to the DMs to talk about it from there, and all the ups and downs and the differences and the symbolism and just everything. And so we're like, we should make a show out of this.
And I'm so glad we did. And I'm glad that we have James here and Simone and good old Teresa, to discuss. When I think about The Color Purple, I think about a movie that has been a Black staple now for almost 40 years?
Yes.
And I want to say it's one of the few movies that you can actually quote almost word for word.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to say it's an inside joke because the movie itself is not a joke, but it's an in-house language or lingo that we share.
Community knowledge, like we all know it.
Yeah, yes, right. It's like a hive type thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you could just randomly say, "You told Harpo to beat me," and you automatically know talking about So I have a lot to say about it, but the show's not about me. Surprisingly, #Leo. But it's not about me. It's about what you guys think. So I did take the liberty of drafting a few questions. And I think what I'm going to do, if it's okay with you guys, I want to ask the question individually. We'll circle back, I guess we go in the circle. And then I'll go on to the next question. But are you guys okay with that?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Yeah, okay.
Let me tell you this first.
Yes.
I didn't see the movie, but I saw the play.
Okay.
That's issue of what I wanted to contribute was the debates that I was getting into on TikTok with people. Don't shake your head, James. With people saying, I walked out because nobody told me that this was a musical.
I saw that too. Like, come on, be real.
Here's my pushback against that. The initial trailer or teaser that dropped that had Oprah Winfrey sitting down with Daniel Brooks and Fantasia and Halle Bailey behind her as they watched the first trailer. I'm sorry, you see those three women behind her. You got to know that there's going to be something different about this movie as opposed to just it being a one-to-one remake.
I'm gonna need you to look. You see that common sense that's sitting on your desk right there? You see it? Look, I see it. It's sitting right there on the corner. It's still on your desk. That's why they didn't have it, because they left it on your desk.
Common sense is a superpower.
Right.
Not everybody has
it. It's free. And I'm gonna need them. I bet you if I pay for it, people will want it.
So Simone, since you're starting it off, and it does lead into my question. I know you didn't watch the movie, but did you enjoy the play at least?
Yes.
You did?
Very much so. Fantasia during her interview, she had said she wasn't ready. After she won American Idol, everything, she got everything, and she just lost it. And I wasn't ready to receive. She had to sit back and get herself together. And I am so glad that they gave her that part, because she killed it. I loved her. And I'm just so glad that they made it into a movie. And I'm just so disheartened with my people when they don't want to sit down, they don't want to pay attention, they half-ass listen, and they just, I mean, they're in the era now, you want everything fast. I'm gonna need these Gen Zs to slow the fuck down and to listen. I'm gonna need y'all to listen. I'm gonna grab the end part of the millennials to the Gen Zs, and then them
the
Gen Alphas. All
they call the new batch. You said Gen Alpha.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't sound right.
The new batch.
Gen Alpha.
Right. The new ones. All of y'all just need to slow down. Smell the fucking roses. Just enjoy. Don't go in. I walked out because I just couldn't. What, bitch? Okay. I'm like, did you understand that it was a play? They made the play into a movie. No, I didn't know that. I just had to go home and watch the original. Okay, I'm glad you watched the original. I'm glad. I'm glad you've never seen the original. Okay, we need to talk about that.
Yeah,
that's a whole nother discussion.
Yeah.
You didn't see the original. This made you see the original. That I'm happy for. But now you want to bash this because you want to compare it to this. It's two different things. Different. You can't compare them. It's two different. It's
I want to jump in.
Storyline, but they're telling it to you and they're singing it to you. It's like you in church. I'm like,
it seemed richer too in some ways. Like this movie, it felt, I want to say, more personal. And I don't know about you guys, but when I first started watching it, of course, they had that big dance number in the beginning, which was a little jarring because I knew it was a musical, but I wasn't thinking about dancing, even though dancing goes hand in hand with musicals. So once you got past that and you're tapping your foot to the beat or whatever, I felt such dread for young Celie because you knew what was going to happen. And I think with us me being older, because the movie came out in 1985, right? I was 2 years old, so I didn't get to enjoy the movie until maybe I was 10 years old. So, but as an adult, it was more horrifying actually, just knowing what she went through. But Joy, did you enjoy the movie? I already know the answer, but
I did. I enjoyed it a lot, and this is coming from someone that doesn't necessarily like musicals. I actually saw the Color Purple musical and forgot I saw it. Right. That's how much of an impact it made on me. Not that it was bad, it's just that I forgot I saw it. But here's the thing, I saw it. I bought a t-shirt that said "Hell No" for the song "Hell No." Forgot where I got that t-shirt from. And then when I'm watching the musical movie, I'm hearing "Hell No." I was like, oh, I know that song. Oh shit, I saw this musical. I forgot about that. But I really, really liked this movie. And I think some of the things that I liked about it were the things that made me uncomfortable. I liked the fact that I really, really didn't want Mr. to have a redemption arc, and they gave him one. I liked the fact because there's one in the book, and I think the play is more faithful to the book. I think the original movie just has a place in everybody's heart because it was a pioneering piece of art when it came out with some stellar performances. You're never going to forget. Going off of what Simone was saying, though, people feel like they got to bash one to celebrate the other. And that's what's wrong with our world in general. You always feel like you got to bash something to celebrate something else. We don't have to be binary like that. We can just say, this one is good for these reasons. And this one is good for these reasons. Right. I don't have to say because I like this movie, the first one was trash. I would never say that. I love the first movie. I also love this one. Now, comparing it on visuals, I think that this new one wins just because technology is different. They had better stuff, so it's gonna look better. Acting, there's no comparison. Like these actors for this play turned into a movie, or they have different roles, different backgrounds, different motivations, different way of looking at these characters than the original cast. So to compare Danny Glover to Coleman Domingo is not fair to either one of them because Danny had a different assignment than Coleman did, you know? So I think they're all great. Character development, I think the new one wins on character development. Possibly because, to your point, I was seeing it as a grown woman, understanding things in a way that I didn't understand when I was 10 when it came out. But yeah, I think that first dance number, I was like, "Ooh, this is a lot." But then got into it, and by the time, and then I started watching the dances because I do like choreography, and I'm watching like that's that little African dance everybody's doing on TikTok. Like I'm catching pieces of it, make it relatable to a modern audience, which I thought they did really well. So I give this movie 2 thumbs up. I think it's worth streaming again, giving some more views whenever it comes out. I might even buy the DVD. I'm lying. I'm not gonna buy it, but it sounded good.
I'm gonna buy it when it comes out on Vudu. Sure enough, I'll definitely buy it.
It's a must own. I think whether it's on DVD, which is going to be phased out eventually, so Blu-ray or digital or what have you. Yeah, it needs to be in your library, not only as a Black person, but as a person anyway. It's a story of human triumph. It's a story of discovering your self-worth. That's universal. Why wouldn't you want something like that to inspire you on your dark days, right?
I want to touch on our commenter, Sam, who said, not everybody likes plays. Some people want the movie, and making a movie based on a play is still weird to him. I get that. There have been a lot of movies based off plays, based off musicals. Oklahoma, 7 Brides and 7 Brothers, which is old school Hollywood. But Chicago, maybe, what was that, like 10 years ago now?
I love Chicago.
Yeah.
One of my favorite movies.
Broadway. The Wiz.
If you haven't seen Chicago, you gotta see it. It's amazing.
I'll squeeze it up, Joy.
Little Shop of Horrors as well.
Yes, which is amazing.
Didn't they do a chorus line too? Wasn't that one a movie?
Yep.
It was.
Yes.
So we do Cats.
Cats was made into a movie.
Okay, that should have been.
Maybe that's not such a good example.
They should have left that one as the play.
I just remember, I think me and Malachi made fun of Jellicle Cats for like a year.
Les Miserables was also a musical made into a movie.
Yes, and that was great. The movie came out in 2012.
I believe so, yeah. That was Hugh Jackman, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
And more recently, Mean Girls.
I heard that was pretty good.
I don't know.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna watch it.
But yeah, I mean, it's rare that it happens that a play is adapted to a movie, but it does happen every so often. Like it happens, and the fact that people aren't more aware of it just means that you're not the audience that goes to musicals on a regular basis.
And Sam just said that he wasn't a fan of musicals for a long time.
Yeah.
I love musicals, and that's something that I think that our people need to embrace. Is just musicals, plays, anything.
Plays in general, yes. I mean, there is.
If you don't want to go to a musical, just see a regular play.
That's what I miss about New York. Hopping on a train and going into the city.
Yes,
I miss that so much. But
it's funny. I won't see them here in Houston. I have to go to New York to see.
Why would you want to? It has to be in New York City.
It has to.
Wait, Sam, you cannot let Medea be your yardstick.
Oh my God!
Well, excuse me.
He said the only ones he knew were the Medea plays that became movies, as far as converting a play to a movie. Nah, bro.
Your palette.
And there's another statement that James just put up from Jeff. Said Jeffrey. It said a movie about a play is cool. A movie about a play about a movie is curious. So this is not a movie about a play about a movie. This is a movie reimagined from a play about a book.
Right.
So the original movie from '85 was about a book, but it was more loosely based.
Right.
The play is more faithful to the book, and then we've got a movie version of that play version of a book. So that's why it comes across so differently, because there were a lot of things. Oh, what's her name? Oh, Whoopi Goldberg said this herself in an interview. She's like, 1985, nobody was going to let two Black women make out on screen. That just wasn't going to happen. It was 1985. So they downplayed a lot of that is very prevalent in the book. And now that we're in a moderately different time, still not where we need to be, but now that people are more accepting of same-sex love scenes, you can have them making out. But the people that saw the first movie and thought, because they don't read, they thought that's what the book was. Now they're like, why we got to put all this stuff in it? Bruh, it's been there all along.
The agenda. It's always the agenda.
Right. Where everybody knows the gay agenda is brunch and pride. And that's the whole year.
Well, first of all, I love brunch. So sign me up. Mimosas all day, please.
Yes.
Drag queen story time.
And a parade is just the show, that travels down the street, and I ain't got to go nowhere except for stand in one spot. So yes, I don't see what the problem is. I really don't.
But I wanted to
with Malika, before you go on, I know that Simone has some discord with people in the social medias. One of the funniest things I saw on social media since I've seen the movie was that people were, and I'm going to mess this up probably, but basically the gist of it was people are upset about a movie adapted from a play they never saw because it's not like the movie they saw when they were kids, adapted from a book they never read.
But they never knew that it was a book.
That sounds about right.
They never knew it was a book. They just saw.
That's my fault. That's my fault. And I say it's my fault because I am a Gen X. And a lot of these Gen Zs are my kids or my older friends' kids who didn't expose them to the right stuff. I saw something recently like this guy was like, I failed my children as a parent because they didn't know like Earth, Wind, and Fire or even New Edition. And he's like, I have not been teaching them the right things. Yeah, you haven't. And so the fact that we collectively did not give our future generations a good base of knowledge about Black art, Black music, Black books, Black classics, classical jazz music. We're just not telling them that. I don't know where we think they're going to pick it up because clearly they're going to be at school. And then we're surprised when they don't know this stuff. How would they? Nobody talks about it. Yeah.
It's unfortunate, but it's pretty much the state of the country, but that's a whole nother kettle of fish. But I just wanted to just hop on what Joyce said, and I want to move on to Teresa. I'm sorry. You had mentioned how people were really upset about, the light same-sex love, going on in the movie. So I don't know if you guys were aware, but what's his name? Boosie? Is it Boosie or Little Boosie?
Oh God,
him. So he, of course, I know he was in jail first and foremost, but he's out. He probably should return. But anyway, he was upset because, there was the kiss between Celie and Chuck Avery and how he walked out with his daughter. But it was also brought to my attention, well, not to my attention, but something was also addressed. So you didn't care about the part where Celie was being raped and mistreated for the first half of the movie. You didn't walk out then, but when she starts finding love, someone who's appreciating her for who she is, despite her misery and her abuse, that's when you want to be performative and walk out. Give me a fucking break.
I'll do you one better.
Sophia.
If it had been, I'm gonna just pick Gina Torres and Halle Berry kissing, be a different story.
It's so true. There's some seats in the theater.
The light-skinned, pretty, acceptable Black, they wouldn't have had as much of a problem with it. If a man finds the woman attractive, then the girl on girl is cute, sexy, whatever. But because Celie is characteristically not supposed to be attractive, and Fantasia had the ugly crowd. She had that shit down pat, right? And so then to see her be in love, I mean, it goes into
How she do it again?
My baby love me. Yeah, all of that.
Gosh.
Wow. Yeah, and I hate to be the one to say that, but I'm right.
You are. Teresa, did you enjoy the movie?
I did very much.
Tell me why.
Let me begin by saying that initially, when I heard about a new Color Purple movie, my first instinct was to say, no, they don't need to remake that movie, because what is everybody doing right now? It's like
remakes.
We're not having any original thought here. We're rebooting TV shows. We're remaking movies. We're remaking songs. The little young people going back and remaking, the stuff that we liked back in the day. And we're like, we didn't need that. We didn't ask for this. But when I found out that it was not a remake, but a movie adaptation of the play, I'm like, okay, that makes more sense. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel. We're not trying to improve on what was a classic movie, one that I think that everybody should see. We're bringing Fantasia to a larger audience, her performance, because she killed it in that play. The play was awesome, but just, above all of that, Fantasia just absolutely killed it. And for that, I was okay. Joy mentioned, that the first, because when it opens, they go right into that first number.
Yes, they do.
It was a little jarring. For me, it was perfect. When they started that number, I was like, okay, I'm going to enjoy this, because I grew up, not really, kind of grew up, in a small country church.
Okay.
With wood floors.
Because that church, when they got into the church and everybody's in there and they're all, for some reason, those little country churches could not get the air conditioning right. So, they're fanning and everybody's feeling the spirit and everything. That took me back. And one of the things that I love about church, I joke to people now, I used to go to church, but now I'm a heathen. But one of the things that I loved about church was the music. And, I enjoy gospel music, but this new stuff is a little too modern for me. I like a good hymn. So when they started it, and I didn't even have to look, when that first voice came out, I knew that was Tamala Mann.
Yes.
I was right at home, right at the dancing didn't bother me. I'm clapping in my seat. I was right at home. I knew that I was going to enjoy it, and I did. So sometimes it's funny that you mentioned Seven Brides for Seven Brothers, because when I was a teenager, I remember me and my mother being at home, and Seven Brides for Seven Brothers came on. It was probably PBS, and I kind of looked at my mother like, are we seriously going to watch this? But I think that was, I don't want to say that out loud, but this is different. This is different. I'm okay with this type of a musical, because it's the type of music that I like. That I'm brought back to the Chain Gang scene in there with that in the Color Purple movie. It just fit. They did a great job. And some people might think that dancing on the Chain Gang thing was a little weird, but they brought the beat with those whatever tools they were using, and it was just perfect. The sledgehammers. I just think I was entertained from beginning to end. I don't have any complaints. I read the book, saw the movie, saw the play, so nothing was really revolutionary about it. There was nothing that surprised me. I just think they did a really good job. Was it Danielle Brooks?
Danielle Brooks, girl from Orange is the New Black. Fell in love with her because she brought in Harry Potter. she's a big old Harry Potter buff. Loved her in Orange Is the New Black.
She did her thing.
Yes, she did.
And you know what I also thought was interesting? Again, when you think about the assignment that both the characters are given, when she says, "You told Harpo to beat me," it's a completely different feel
Yes.
than when when Oprah Winfrey said that 30 some odd years ago. Because Oprah Winfrey was very much accusatory and disappointed. You told Harpo to beat me. Like, just, I can't believe you did that. But this felt more modern. She came in, "You told Harpo to beat me." Like, bitch, I know you didn't. Like, it just felt different. It felt fresh, even though it's the exact same line. It's delivered for the exact same reason, you know?
Different way to put it. Now, with you saying that, Joy, Oprah was there to guide Danielle. Oprah is a mean girl, and I'm just so disappointed in her right now. She did not allow Fantasia to get in touch with Whoopi.
Really?
She said, "Oh no, don't bother her. She's busy," because she wanted to get information from her about how should she,
approach the role,
portray this. And even though she did the play, it was still more of a, okay, and Whoopi even said it, "I'm passing the torch on, I'm handing it to the next generation." And Whoopi was like, "How come nobody's reaching out to me?" And she didn't realize that she was told not to bother her because she doesn't have time. And then she didn't want to do the View because Whoopi was there.
I remember that a couple weeks ago. Yep.
I'm like, okay. And then I know all of y'all saw that TikTok with Taraji damn near crying when they was doing the interview, and then Oprah, the photo shoot, and then Oprah walking away. You could see Fantasia's face, like, I don't know how to help you.
What TikTok? This is news to me.
Oh, I have to find it. Find it because they all doing a photo shoot, and then Oprah kindly just backs away from Taraji, and she stands behind Danielle, and you see Taraji trying not to cry.
Oh wow!
Yes,
and you can tell Fantasia is comforting her.
Yes,
and doesn't know what to say.
Oh,
yeah, you can see Fantasia like, I don't know how to help you. And Fantasia's stuck in the middle because her career now is jumping, and I don't expect her to stand up to Oprah, to
kill her career.
Yes, I don't expect her to do that. But Oprah, I mean, come on, bitch, you was a nobody when you did this movie.
You had a local Chicago TV show.
Whoopi, right. You shouldn't even have that. She didn't even have that yet, Joy. She was doing the movie, and they gave her the show. I remember one of her, what she was talking about with one of the directors. Oh, I'm getting this show, and they said that I'm gonna be famous. And they was like, "Oh, okay, that's fine, but no, you can't have time off to go into your show. You still have to finish this movie. Don't know who you are, bitch." Whoopi was the main attraction of this, because when she did like this, until you do right by me. I love that line. I say that shit all the time to my husband.
So James, I didn't ask you. What were your thoughts on it? Did you enjoy it?
I immensely enjoyed it. I am not big on emoting as far as my joy for certain things.
Rest in bitch face.
I mean, not so much that, just like,
because I can relate.
I like being stoic and just, you can't read my emotions on my face. But this movie, this iteration of the movie, literally moved me through the entire emotional spectrum from beginning to end, in a way that the first one really doesn't. Because again, the first one came out, I was probably 8 years old. I didn't see it till I was like maybe 9 or 10 on video, a year or two later. And again, that understanding of what is happening changes as I get older and watch that original movie. So by the time I get to college and watch it, my perspective is a lot different than when I was, 9, 10 years old. as opposed to being 18, 19, and then watching it again in my mid 20s and then probably early 30s, whatever. Because you grow to understand things now and then become like, oh, this is why these things were taboo then. You know, the subtleness of the relationship between Suge and Celie in the first film. And I do mean subtle because, yeah, there's a scene and they're pecking each other on the lips, but not like full on kissing. And it's kind of like nothing. It's almost like two relatives who haven't caught up in a while, like kissing each other on the cheek or the lips or whatever. Like, hey, how you doing? And as a kid, and even as a teenager, you don't grasp the gravity of how important that scene is. Agreed. Seeing that expanded upon in this version does it more justice as far as the relationship between those two characters. And there's a greater appreciation for how they feel about each other, how much they love each other, how much they depend on each other to get through the rough patches that they were going through respectively at different points of the film. How they leaned on each other. So that was something that I appreciated as far as certain aspects that, yeah, we can quote from the first film were either turned into just off one-liners and then they went straight into a musical number, which probably did it better justice because, like Joy mentioned earlier, the line of "You told Harpo to beat me." I hear that line and the first thing I think is Oprah's character, Sophia, stomping through a cornfield. You know, because Celie's out there doing laundry or whatever, and she just, that lumbering walk, and it's like, okay, somebody about to get their butt kicked. Like, I know that walk. And while Danielle Brooks did something similar in this movie, it didn't play the same way. It was like "You told Harpo to beat me" did not come off the same way as it did in the first one. And by going into the musical number there, it changed the dynamic of what was happening, but you still felt the gravity of what was going on. Because during the entire musical number, she's packing up her stuff to leave.
Yep.
And you really don't really see that in the original. Like, yeah, she leaves, but it's like, all right, she has this conversation with Celie, and then next scene, something else happens, and then she's gone. And it's never really, at least from my recollection of the original film, it's never really explained. So yeah, things like that, as far as like how they reimagine the telling of those events, I appreciate more because there's more depth put into them. And yes, while some people may not like musicals, and musicals may not be my preferred genre, but I do appreciate the medium as far as the storytelling aspect, because the songs are just as much a character of what you're watching as the characters themselves.
Well said.
But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it.
So my thing is, that's going to lead to my next question, and I want Joy to answer it. We've already expounded on a few things regarding the characterization of these beloved characters. So Joy, who was your favorite in this version of The Color Purple? Ooh. Or do you even have a favorite?
I think I do. I think, it's going to sound, I can't believe I'm going to say this.
Spit it out.
But I got to say, as far as me feeling compelled in a way, Mr. Coleman Domingo's portrayal, I wanted to punch him in the face so hard. And he did a good job. He did a good job because they gave him more to work with. I will say that, because in the original movie, it wasn't clear to me that Danny Glover's Mr. was sad or living a life he didn't want or disappointed in his life choices or just, disgruntled in any way. I didn't really get that he was under his father's thumb like that. It was clear to see that, he was a little bit scared of his dad, but all of the things we got out of this movie he really wanted to be a musician. That's why he had a guitar. That's why he was in love with Suge. He talked about, I could have been something. Now, forced to till this land my grandfather left me or whatever my daddy making me do. Even down to getting married, your daddy made you do all this. You hate your life. Of course you're going to take it out on whoever will let you, which is the nature of bullies. And then to recognize all that in him, I didn't get that in the first movie. His was the most different for me. And I wanted to hate him. I wanted to hate him the way I still kind of hate Danny Glover. I wanted to hate him, but I couldn't. I understood him, and that's why I say he was my favorite.
Okay. So, Teresa, who was your favorite?
With Celie having the larger part of the movie, you know, that she's really the first person I think of, but really, I think I'm more drawn to Sophia.
Yes.
I just Danielle Brooks just brought that role
Sophia sure is a pretty name
to life in such a different way. And plus, I don't know, it may not make sense to some people, but with me being a plus size girl, and you not getting a lot of plus size characters to root for or whatever in TV, film, or anything, I just felt like Sophia was so joyful.
Mm-hmm.
Even being a plus size girl, she was pursued, she was admired, and she was joyful until they beat it out of her.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel like she brought so much to the movie.
That she did. James?
I got to piggyback on everything Teresa said about Sophia, because, I mean, yes, I have a bias because Danielle Brooks is awesome, but what she did with Sophia in this film was vastly different, for me anyway, than what Oprah Winfrey did 40 years ago. It really wasn't the same. It was almost like two different characters, and and it's not in such a way to tear down what Oprah did, but Oprah's performance 40 years ago, Sophia comes off as, I want to say, not braggadocious, but kind of just obnoxiously loud and
brash
and just bullyish, like a little bully in herself, because she has to have her own way. But again, you don't really know why until she comes back with "all my life I had to fight." And even then, there's really no depth in that monologue she gives to Celie. It's like, okay, so you grew up with a bunch of brothers and sisters you had to fight. As a kid at the time, hearing that is like, okay, so my mom grew up with, was one of six. I'm pretty sure the six of them got in fights all the time too. So it was nothing foreign or new to me hearing about this portrayal of her. Like Teresa said, there was joy there. And forgive me for saying this, but she reminded me of my most recent girlfriend, that she wanted to bring that joy out of everybody else. She was happy. She wanted to spread that happiness to everybody else. She wanted everybody around her to be happy too, but she also wasn't going to take no gruff, because, she came across as, and look, I'm not a very, loud person by nature. I tend to let other people make decisions for me when I shouldn't, but it's kind of like that thing where people say, guys, why you're so quiet and go after women who are often loud? It's like, because I'm not going to tell the waiter they messed up my order and ask them to go back and fix it. That's Sophia. Like, and that's why we go after Sophia, because somebody got to tell the waiter, you messed up this order, go back and get it right. So, yeah. So I was just naturally drawn to her in the film. Fantasia killed it as well. Like, because I've not seen Fantasia perform much over the last 10 plus years since American Idol. Early on, she kind of like hit the scene. She did, her music career, whatever. She had some stumbles, and then it's kind of like she faded out of the public eye. So when this came out, it was like, oh, okay. For me, it was the first thing that of major notoriety I had seen her in a while. I know she's done other things, but this, it felt almost personable watching her portrayal of Celie. Like, it wasn't just her playing a character. It was almost like she was pouring her own life into this role.
Agreed.
She said that too, I think, in the interview. It was therapeutic for her.
So, yeah, but yeah, definitely Danielle Brooks, close second, Fantasia, Celie. So, yeah.
Okay, Simone?
I would have to say Suge. She's my favorite in the original and in the play. She's my favorite.
Okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying I just enjoy her, and I just like the way both. From what I saw from the way Taraji did it, she just put her all into it. Because I'm like, damn, Cookie could sing.
Cookie line.
I'm like, okay, Cookie. I was like, I gotta pull myself away from Cookie.
She hadn't sung in a while.
She ain't sung since what is it? Hard Out Here for a Pimp.
Oh,
she did a great job though in The Color Purple.
She did do a great job.
The Harpo's juke joint, like the entrance she made, as the flapper. Someone knew it really like that. And actually, I could see you doing a cosplay of her flapper look, but
it's on my list.
Okay.
My list is like freaking long, and I keep writing stuff down, and then I'm jumping all over the place. So now with the bald head, I've got 4 cosplays that I'm doing. It's like I'm gonna take advantage of this. Oh, we do my Dora Milaje so I can look like Elle. Oh yes, doing that one for sure.
That's what's up. I want to piggyback on something that James was saying about the portrayal of Sophia.
Mm-hmm.
I think all the characters are much more nuanced now than they were then, because that's the evolution of humans consuming entertainment. We got what we needed in 85, the same way we got what we needed in 1938, the same way, and now we get what we need now, which is a more nuanced set of characters. But the thing, even though I loved Coleman Domingo and I picked him as my favorite, the thing that broke me in this movie and made me cry my own ugly tears was when Sophia was in jail and Celie went to see her, and she said, with her mouth broken, "Don't leave me."
Yeah,
I lost it in the theater.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That scene is still hard anyway, because you know it's going to happen. But I'm glad they didn't show the part. Yes, you are spoiling for those who are watching. It's been out now for almost a month, so you're spoiled.
No, I feel no remorse.
No sympathy.
No sympathy.
Yes.
I'm glad they didn't show too much of the indignity of it. Yes, you see her get, hit by, the lynch mob.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad they didn't show the other part with the, the panties being shown, because give her something. Because I was like, you feel the tension building, and you had that white heifer in the car waving at the kids. Oh, they're so clean. They're so clean. Be my maid. Yeah, this is like, bitch, no. I don't want
hell no.
And you should be comfortable enough to say exactly how you feel and not go to jail for 7 years for it, but I'm glad that they gave her just that tiny bit. And of course, when they do the scene where Celie is at the dinner table and Sophia starts laughing, the joy returned. It was like spring had returned. So
and it felt more realistic this time than when Oprah was laughing the first time. You just hear this cackle out of the corner.
It was creepy when Oprah did it. Yeah,
it was very creepy, and I felt it felt more realistic this time. I'll also say, like, again, going back to that scene in the prison, when I was 10 and I first saw it, I was just like, wow, they hit her hard. And I'm thinking that she just in prison for a little while. And this time, as an adult, understanding the history of racism and sexism and everything else in this country, you understand exactly what happened to her every day for 7 years. And it's more than just, because when I first saw the movie 40 years ago, I thought she got a little bit slow coming out because of the hit, because she didn't want to talk. And now I'm understanding they literally beat her, the personality out of her. She was afraid to say or do anything. And that's sort of, and understanding that psychological trauma differently now as an adult than I did when I'm younger. Again, that's why I think this movie just hits differently, even though it's the same subject matter.
Agreed.
And they still force her to be that woman's maid.
Yeah, and that's the injustice of it, but that's also on brand for this country. So you guys love to remind us or try to remind us that we're second-class citizens here. But again, that's a whole nother kettle of fish. So my favorite character, again, aside from, Celie being, phenomenally portrayed by Fantasia, I love Danielle Brooks for the reasons that I stated, but I had a special place in my heart for young Celie. Um, she had such an innocence to her, and despite what her father, who was completely disgusting and vile, despite how he referred to her as, what did he say to Mister in front of the store? Like, she's, I forgot, he was something like equivalent to her being shit or whatever. And then
But when he
Mr.
asked for Nettie, and he was like, "No, you can't have her, but you can have Celie."
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's
like
ugly, but she can cook. Yeah.
Yeah,
she
she's
can cook. And like,
strong.
I feel like bang there, just walking there.
Work.
I just thought that like it broke my heart every time I saw her, because even then, even being like, the butt of jokes and being on the receiving end of a punch or worse, she had the most beautiful smile. And I love the scenes, with her and, Nettie. Um, I loved I loved the exuberance that she had. She still had faith, even when she, what actually really bothered me is seeing this young girl who's probably maybe 14, 15, full out pregnant. And the townsfolk, they know that she's not married, that she doesn't have a boyfriend. She's being raped by her who she thought was her actual biological father, and no one cared. you know, and then there's a scene where, she gives birth to Olivia. No, was it Olivia or
Adam.
Adam?
Adam.
Adam. And he comes to take the baby, and she's like, "The baby's mine." And then he has the gall and the audacity to say, "Well, he's mine too." And I'm like, "Ew!" Like you're disgusting, and it speaks to a larger issue in the community, with the incest and the sexual abuse that's never addressed. Like, it's always swept under the carpet or whatever. And you hear about you have relatives, or you have friends of the family. Oh, don't have him around the kids. you know he's not going to go to hell, but the gay choir director is. So it just speaks to a lot of the hypocrisy. It speaks to a lot of the inherent bigotry and what's the other word I'm looking for, discrimination. But I loved her character. I loved when she started singing. I wasn't expecting that. And I just loved when she was able to exhale and just be herself with her sister. And then, of course, when Nettie's taken away from her, and it's just like, it really made you want to take a hatchet to Mister's head and just cleave right on down to the bone.
Probably wouldn't start with his head.
Yes, we're going to start lower.
Maybe not that head.
Right.
So I've noticed that Haley, because she hit her pregnancy, she wasn't doing much touring.
Okay.
With this, would you guys think that kind of hurt anything? Because I mean, I felt she should have been out there. She was a main character. It should have been her and Fantasia, along with Danielle and Taraji. It should have been those four women out there pushing this movie.
That's a fair point.
That's fair.
But I'm also thinking it was still kind of on the tail end of the writer's strike. Could that have still been an issue, or no?
Possibly, yeah. I mean, the strike ended late October
ish,
right? And the movie released Christmas Day. So you're talking about.
Well, Oprah was talking. Yeah, you're right, because she started
weeks.
talking in March about it, telling people to wear purple and pushing it But my thing is, she should have. I think Oprah should have just did more. She just should have did more. She just should have did more for these women. She should have did more to demand better pay for these women. Just push these people out there, bombard us, make us sick of seeing these women. I think Oprah has the power to do it. Bitch, you a billionaire. And you a black woman that can say no to these men and make these men listen to you so that they can say, okay, she's demanding this. Let's do this for these women. That's I'm sorry. I know I went on a tangent. Let's go back.
No, it's fair because ever since this movie came out and they've been doing the, interview circuit, Taraji has been very outspoken as far as the accommodations, the pay, like everything behind the scenes of this film. And it's like, wait a minute. I get it that this time around, there were probably infinitely more people of color behind the scenes putting this film together than there were 40 years ago. Right. For Taraji to be speaking out the way she is a bad look on Oprah, because she's the person, like, granted, yes, Steven Spielberg still gets some type of credit on this, as far as like executive producer or something like that, or whatever it is that he gets on there. But you put yourself out there as the face, my opinion, erroneously so. You shouldn't have. You should have pushed the talent in this film more than putting yourself out there. And you know how Hollywood works. You know what, you've been on a number of sets to know what it's supposed to look like. And to, I won't say penny pinch, but basically downgrade. So, Taraji is probably the most, as far as movie talent goes, she's probably the most accomplished actress in this film.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
She knows what it's supposed to look like on set, the accommodations and everything, which is why she spoke out. The rest of them are practically brand spanking new. This is Fantasia's first theatrical role. Holly did Little Mermaid, but
that was mostly voice.
Right. So
Disney too.
Yeah. So for this to be their first experience as far as an all black film, that's not good. If what behind the scenes Oprah was, whether it was nickel and diamond or just throwing whatever out there, that's not a good look at all.
Yeah.
So I want to counter that.
Yes, I get it that they're happy to have jobs, but at some point we have to be more like 40 years ago, the cast, if they were happy to have jobs, cool. 1985, there's still like 5 of us in any major motion picture to get any recognition. There are like hundreds of us now in the industry. Happy to have a job is not going to cut it anymore. Like, and I get it.
There was scraps.
Some of them are actually speaking out and demanding better, and are probably most likely getting blackballed for speaking up because they're not being treated equally as their white counterparts. But what Taraji has been saying pretty much, like I said, since this film dropped, as far as what she makes on a movie and what a white counterpart makes on a movie, is disgusting.
Yeah.
Because a studio will say, well, we can get this actress or we can get this actress, but if we go, if we pay the white actress, we have to pay this much. But if we get the black actress, we can only pay this much and save money or whatever have you. Because you're still thinking that the black talent is still happy to have a role. And for a lot of them, that's not the case anymore.
Yeah.
There
was, I don't know if you saw it, James, but I know Joy probably saw it, and maybe Teresa and Simone, but I did a post pretty much the other day about, Oprah, allowing these conditions to go on. And I had a lot of people who were in the comment section, as you well know, very opinionated. And I was told that Oprah was one of 18 executive producers or whatever, and that she wasn't truly responsible for what's going on. It should have been the studio and not her. I guess I can't profess to know the ins and outs of it, but to go back on what you said, Oprah put herself out there. Instead of saying, "Hey guys, Color Purple starring Taraji, Fantasia," you saw her do her little video of her wearing a purple suit. Buy your tickets December 25th. So so you made it about you. So that means if there's any heat, you're gonna have to take that. People were not being fed, on the set. Like, how are you gonna work 18-hour days and you can't even get a biscuit and some water?
Right.
I'm dehydrated and I'm hungry. Please feed me.
Look, I don't care about them other 17 people that was on there with her. Bitch, you are the Black female billionaire. So I expect more, just like all of these Blacks expected a lot from our Black president. I expected Oprah to do more, be better. I want Taraji here. This is what I need, Stephen. This is what you Oprah, bitch. You Oprah.
Oprah. And if you're
books, anything you like flies off the damn shelf. So you gonna tell me you can't talk to these white men and sitting next to you? No.
And if she was struggling with that, why not come out in solidarity with Taraji? Like, you know what? Taraji had a point. I wanted to do something and my hands were tied. So I feel her pain if that's the case. Yep. Because ain't nobody, I mean, you still Oprah. Ain't nobody gonna come take your network from you because you said something. So for her to continue, somebody else said, doing the work of the oppressor, girl, bye. Like,
put them on your network, bitch. It's your network.
Yeah. Right. Ain't no sense for nobody on there to be hungry. Oprah has an avocado orchard on her land. I'm gonna need you to pick a pair and bring them down so we can all have some healthy trans fat, and some water. Like, goddamn.
Some guacamole.
Right?
Oh, man.
It's free food. It's growing right there. Just
right.
Bring some
That's
with
true, though. She's always out there with her little flat basket picking a cabbage. She could have sent them some craft services.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, we have to start wrapping up soon because we have about 3 minutes. But I did want to ask you guys, what was your favorite thing about the movie? And I'm gonna go with Simone first. Well, the show.
The singing. The singing. I like I said, I'm a musical girl. I'm a musical girl. West Side Story, you got it. Sweet Charity. I'm a musical girl. So it was the singing for me. That was it. The storyline was there in the original. This one was more about the singing and just this is what we did when we felt bad, we sang.
Yeah.
That's it.
Thanks. How about you? What was your
I guess my favorite thing about the film was the actors who I wasn't expecting to see in this movie. Whoopi Goldberg being the midwife for Celie in the beginning of the film was completely out of nowhere for me. Seeing David Alan Grier play Suge Avery's dad,
surprising, yeah,
was like, wow, where did this come from? Louis Gossett Jr. playing Mister's father.
Mister.
Deion Cole.
Deion Cole, right. And at the end of the film, I'm thinking like, wait, that was Deion Cole? How did I not recognize him? Like, because Deion Cole is an easily recognizable figure. And at no point during the performance of that film that I think that her dad was Deion Cole until I saw the credits at the end. Like, wait, he was in this as who? Just seeing those actors in those roles was kind of, I think that was probably my favorite thing about the film, just the unexpectedness of seeing certain people. Because again, it's 40 years later. I'm expecting, young, talented actors that we may all know from other things, or up and comers who this film should establish them in some light to put them on the map to jumpstart their careers. I was not expecting to see people from my youth, if you will, rolling through this movie. I guess one other favorite thing, and I'll end on this, stop on this, is the portrayal of Suge and her dad's relationship actually had depth, as opposed to the first film where it was like, well, why don't they like each other?
I still wanted the big song.
I know. I was kind of waiting for the song.
I was waiting for it, and I'm like,
here's why.
That might be the only gripe I have is, I mean, it's a musical. You couldn't put the one song we all love.
Yeah, that is the best song.
Here's why I think they didn't, because when Suge first comes to town, they use a musical number there.
Yeah, that's
when
true.
Suge first shows back up, coming like Suge Avery's coming to town. That whole song and dance number, I think they use it there, and it pretty much sets up the disconnect between her and her dad. Like I said, we didn't get 40 years ago. It's just they're not on speaking terms. We don't necessarily know why, or it's not really portrayed out there as to why. And this one, from the moment she shows up until she sits down beside him and actually hums "God is trying to tell you something,"
it was quieter. Yeah,
it's more established, and the storytelling just much. I'm sorry, this film, the storytelling much better than 40 years ago, because again, the depth of the characters, expanding on the storylines, understanding what the trial and strife is behind various relationships. And I appreciate that, because yes, every now and then, sometimes some things need to be updated with a twist. And that's basically what this was. It was updated with a twist and pulling more so from the book that, we saw in the play.
I am in total agreement. Is it Joy? Is it your turn to tell me what's your favorite thing? No? Teresa.
Me? Oh, my favorite. My favorite, not really a part of the movie, but my favorite thing was just how moved I was throughout the entire movie. Music moved me. The portrayals moved me, and I felt them. And like Joy said, she's still holding a grudge against Danny Glover. They played so well. I want to stab old Mister in the hand with a fork on, at the table, because he was just an old bastard. And just, I was moved throughout the movie. I cried in the jail scenes. I cried for Sophia. I cried again at least one more time towards the end. I think when Taraji was singing with her father, I cried at the very end when they were back together, and Celie's kids were there, and Sierra was old Nettie, and I didn't realize that. Of course, I'm kind of slow. I was today years old when I found out that Dion Cole was
right.
father. I did not know that. But I mean, just my favorite thing about the movie is that I was so moved.
I am in total agreement. What I liked about the movie is pretty much everything that you guys have already said, but it made me take a breath. It made me take stock of, life can be really shitty at times. You can be victimized, and you can be a victim, but you don't have to stay in that state. And not only can you rise above it, you can learn to smile, and you can learn to smile in color. So, I was just very, I was touched by it. I loved the ending, because I was not expecting to have that big celebration, and they're all outside under the the trees, and it's in a circular pattern. So of course, being an X-Men fanatic, I thought about the Quiet Council from the X-Men and the Great Ring of Araco.
Nice.
So I loved that, because it felt like it was an authority. They felt they were in their own power, because they had reclaimed it. And seeing her kids again, and just renewing those bonds that you thought were severed, and the strength of family and how family can heal. That's what really moved me. I saw a quote earlier today that I shared in my family group chat, and it said, "Family is the heart of the home," and I just thought it was so applicable to everything that we go through, because your family is supposed to be, your rock. Is They're supposed to be, those who could pick you up when you don't feel like getting back up. And for Celie, it had always been Nettie. When she starts singing the song "I'm Here," and she says, "My sister's not present, but I feel her. I feel the same way with my twin sister who's in Massachusetts." So I may not get to speak to her every day or often as I would like, but I know there's a part of me that's out there existing, in the world, and I know that thread is still there. So, excuse me. So that's why I love The Color Purple, and I'm glad that they did this remake, because we needed something for the next generation.
Yeah.
Didn't mean to get all preachy, y'all. But I think our time is up. Over ish.
Yeah, just a few minutes.
Yeah.
They're not going to kill us over that.
Okay, because you know how I want, people in my so what else do you guys, want to talk about? Like, do you see this movie getting a lot of awards? Do you see it getting snubbed? Which brings me to
well, actually, it kind of did
already, right?
Well, because it came out too late for
award season. Yeah, it missed
the
the deadline.
award season,
which is probably deliberate, for all we know.
Will it be embraced the next time around? I don't know. Fantasia damn sure needs to get a Golden Globe nomination again. If she didn't get one, she needs to definitely get one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know. I know this was a while ago, but she should have got something for a Tony.
I think she got a Tony.
But she
I'll have to find out.
She should have got that.
But did you guys hear that the actress who played young Celie, what's her name? Is Felicia Pearl Mapasi? They didn't even invite her to Golden Globes. And I'm like, she's Celie. Like, how do you not invite that one person that's vital to the cast? But what made it even more heartbreaking? Huh?
For a third of the movie, at least.
Yeah. But what made it even worse for me is that she went on social media and she's like, I'm still rooting for you guys. I'm wearing my purple to root for Danielle and Fantasia. And I'm like, that makes it all the more gut wrenching, because she seems super sweet, and like I think her career should benefit from this as well. Like, hello.
Absolutely.
She was nominated for a lot of stuff, but
she didn't win.
She was nominated for a Golden Globe, and that's recently. That was 2024.
Okay.
NAACP Image Awards, BET stuff, Soul Train. I'm not seeing that she was ever nominated for a Tony or Emmy.
Fantasia.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even if they don't, I'm not going to say I'm surprised, because it's kind of how they do.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
They want to get a pat on the back.
Fantasia, for a long part of her career, she did not cross over. So she was very much a Black artist, as opposed to, a Beyonce or what have you, where, little white kids are singing her stuff. She's our artist, The
little white children.
Mm-hmm. Which makes it hard to get noticed from the Tonys and the Emmys and the Oscars, because look who's on the voting staff, I'm still mad at the Oscars because Straight Outta Compton didn't even get nominated because some of the people that were in charge of nominations was like, oh, I didn't even watch it. It was too loud. And just dissed it.
That wasn't some. That was most. Didn't watch.
That's when they started saying, like, we got to get some of these old fuddy-duddies out
of here.
Oscars so white.
Yeah.
Because they refuse to watch any films of color.
Yeah.
You just say you don't like Black films. Just say
just say you don't like black people.
Some of the shit they do nominate, and some of the shit that wins awards too. It's just
I'm still mad at The Shape of Water. The fuck,
mind-boggling.
Monsters Ball. Remember that one? Like, really?
Which one?
Yo, let's go. Oh, look, I'm going all the way back to One Golden Pond should have won compared to fucking Chariots of Fire. That crap. I can only remember the stuff that really irritated me.
So, like,
but it's wild to know now. Again,
The Martians, they made that into a comedy because it was up against some other show, and they didn't want him to not.
What are you talking about?
I'm like, dude, The Martians was a drama. It was not a comedy.
A comedy, yeah.
Because you said a couple of funny lines doesn't make it a comedy. So you took the award away from people who actually did comedy. And you stuck this movie in here. Y'all changed stuff around just to appease. It's like,
The original Color Purple was nominated for, what was it, 11 awards?
I want to talk about that because, again, according to Oprah, a lot of that snubbing happened, not Oprah, according to Whoopi, a lot of that snubbing happened because the damn NAACP did not like the original Color Purple, and they had felt some type of way about it, encouraged people not to see it, said that it was damaging, blah, 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 and that helped them get snubbed at the Oscars. And that was coming from Whoopi.
Be your own people.
You be your own damn people sometimes. All these years, I've been mad at the Oscars because I felt like white people did her dirty, and it was us.
It was us.
The whole time.
It was us.
That is
telling folks to not go see this film. For what reason, I still don't understand to this day. I don't see how this is damaging. And look, Spielberg ran the project 40 years ago.
That's what they were mad about. How's this white guy going to tell the story? But it's an all black cast,
all black cast
influence. Yeah.
And look, there may not have been a lot of people of color behind the scenes, but I'm willing to bet that because it's Spielberg, there were people of color in the roles behind the scenes where they needed to be, as far as hair and makeup. Let's start there.
Yeah.
Right. Most importantly, hair and makeup. I really don't care about the grips and the cameraman and anything else like that. Yeah. But he put on an all black film, and I'm pretty sure he had black people in hair and makeup primarily.
We saw Celie's braids.
Yeah, because you have white people who don't know how to do makeup for us in our hair.
And why flat out lie and say they do?
Just to get Diane Carroll talking about that.
Their own makeup people and hair people, because you don't know how. If we have to learn how to do your hair, how come you can't learn how to do ours?
A lot of black actors will say how they've got to do their own hair or put their hair in a style that they can manage for the duration of filming because they have nobody local that can do it.
Can do their hair.
They got to bring their own foundation, their own makeup because nobody is able to match them.
Do it, right. Or bring their own hair person.
Right. And that's not in a that's not additional pay in their contract. They take it out of their own wallet.
That's not cool. But I'm also not surprised.
No. But we're 13 minutes over. I'm sorry.
Huh?
We're 13 minutes over as partially my bad.
So I guess we wrap up then, right?
We always go over. I don't know what to do.
Right? I'm not working in the morning. I love doing this.
We'd be like, okay, we've been talking now for like 2.5 hours.
I mean, I love it.
Day
3.
We're not going that long.
However.
Oh, well, okay. Well, we can keep going if need be.
What?
Like I said, you can keep going.
I mean, unless you really want to shut it down.
So in conclusion,
yes.
I'll start the summary page of this. I think we all agree that this movie brings something to the wider collection of art that is Black cinema. I think it was worth being done, worth seeing, worth owning at some extent. And I think it is a great portrayal of what Alice Walker wanted in her book.
I could definitely co-sign with that. Surprisingly, I have not read the book. I just knew about the movie, from my youth, and I remember loving it as a kid. Even then, it was glossed over a lot of the deeper things that are implied. And I wanted to rewatch it before I saw the new movie, but I was catching up on a different show because I've been trying to get that under control. But I enjoyed the nuance of this movie. It felt more well-rounded. The characters, like each character in some way was relatable, except for Celie's father, who was a disgusting piece of shit.
Yeah, yes.
There was nothing redeeming about him at all. But everybody else, there were different like nuggets here and there that I was like, okay, if I had to pull something from, Mr. is like, okay, you had an overbearing parent, and they wanted you to do this and yada yada yada, and you didn't want to do that. So okay, I'll take it at the most basic, most general, meaning of it. But anything else further with you just being abusive, like I could not take it with him slapping her and hitting her and slamming her against the wall. That was a lot. So I did like how it was realistic, in that regard. There are bullies who are out there who
he shows you what it meant to terrorize somebody.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's something that I know it was part of the story, but it doesn't make you want to watch it though. That's the part where I would have walked out if I hadn't spent all that money on the ticket. But everything else I loved. I loved when they did that musical number when Celie and Shug, they go to the movies and they do the black and white and they're wearing like the flapper look. That was so dreamlike. It was and it was a new song because a lot of those songs I hadn't heard before except for I'm Here. And it was it was magical. It showed true love, being experienced for the first time, and it showed that it transcends genders and all that good shit. But I was here for the movie. I do hope it gets more recognition. I wanted to get as much recognition as a movie like Avatar does, because Avatar is always being rammed down my throat, and I don't enjoy it.
Avatar is not good.
It's not.
Seen it.
It's not.
Avatar is Dances with Wolves in space.
And go in a little water. It's just for me. It is. I watched the first movie years ago. It was like 3 hours, and I can't tell you one thing about it except for the bad guy should have played Cable. And
yes,
yeah, like, probably should have.
Stephen Lang, the actor.
Yes,
to me, he was the embodiment of Nathan Summers, that Scotty son. Nathan Dayspring. Like he should have been Cable, but we get Thanos. So
I'll also say when it comes to Avatar, looking forward to the live action movie of Avatar: The Last Airbender that's going to come out. We got to come back and discuss that once it's out and we had a chance to digest it. Because just on casting alone, I'm excited. Not going to start a whole new conversation because we're leaving. But
all of them. I'm like, ooh, Lord. Just see, that's why I got an Asian baby. That's why I got an Asian baby.
I gotta finish watching. What's it, Korra? Is it Korra? The
Legend of Korra? Yeah, you gotta finish Korra.
I enjoyed watching that. Like I fell off on that, but from what I've seen, I'm probably in the second season, maybe halfway through.
You got 2 more.
Yeah, I have some time, but I've been obsessed because you're talking about different shows now. Please tell me that you guys have seen The Brother's Son on Netflix.
I'm watching it right now. It's on pause.
Yeah, it is so fucking delicious. Like
I'm getting
every
to that.
episode is amazing.
Okay.
Every episode is an action movie by itself. It's great
because it feels authentic.
I never heard of that. What is that on?
It's on Netflix.
Netflix.
Okay.
Michelle Yeoh.
It is so fucking good.
Michelle. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I finished it a few days ago.
You finished it 2 days ago?
Yeah, because I binged it, and I don't really binge shows, but I had taken a few days off of social media, and I was like, let me just catch up on some shows. So I was catching up on Fargo, which I am obsessed with, and I said, let me just watch The Brother's Son, and it was so good. Like it felt like an authentic, Asian film, or in this case, a TV series. They get into the whole family dynamics. They got into, it's not just about martial arts. They're an actual people, believe it or not. Who would have thought about it, right? But that was a good show. Right now, don't laugh at me, but I'm finally knocking out the last season of Umbrella Academy. I know I'm delayed.
It's fine.
You're fine. I couldn't even finish it.
It's going to be a while before we get the final season of that anyway.
Yeah, you
That's
good.
true. That's true. There's another show that got my attention on Netflix. It's something about, what it's called, something like a Nine Tails or something.
Oh,
like that.
Tale of the Nine Tail. Yeah, I've seen that.
Is that good? Because I've been interested.
It is very good. It's one of the classic K-dramas from like maybe 5-10 years ago. So it's an older show. It's just now coming to Netflix. But first off, the main lead is fucking gorgeous, even if he is weird.
We like that. We like gorgeous looking people.
He's gorgeous. His sidekick is gorgeous. They got a couple of other. It's a bunch of pretty people going around doing stuff. Action, past lives, everything. It's great.
Good. So I can't abide ugliness, so I'll watch it.
So once you watch that, there's a sequel that's available on, I want to say, Hulu.
Okay, so it just hit me up on Facebook.
Yeah. If you want to get into K-dramas and all the pretty boys that are in K-dramas, I got you.
Yeah. Where she down? Yeah, down there. Yeah, her.
Yeah, I'm a new K-drama stan.
Who's he pointing at? And I'm like,
trying to point diagonally towards.
I see it now. Yeah, yeah.
Over there. I gotta remember it's the opposite way. Because I consume a lot of Asian media as well, but I know Joy watches more than I do because my side is more anime oriented. So if there's something she's like, you might like this, you should check it out.
Speaking of anime, James, I know you saw Blue Eye Samurai.
Of course I did.
Oh my god!
Of course I did.
That was good.
That was a work of
art.
That
was good.
Teresa, did you watch it yet?
I was not expecting.
I'm not interested. I'm about to find out because I don't do drama or anime or any of that.
No, if there's any anime, I'm telling you,
that's the introduction to her right there.
This is a good intro to anime. This is a good gateway.
Phenomenal. Like that show should be nominated for awards.
It's so good.
That fifth episode, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, that one I had to sit up and just like rewind it a few times because it was so. First off, it's
so well done. It's John Woo level action in there too. It's good. Yeah,
my jaw dropped at the end of every episode. Like, yeah, I'm not going to bed tonight. I'm staying up to watch another episode and another episode, and it's like, damn it, it's 3 a.m.
Right.
I guess I'll go to sleep.
It's masterful storytelling, basically.
And the sidekick had me.
Oh my god!
Oh, he was cute.
He
with that little thing on his head.
Yes, and I'm like, oh god, you. And I know he was handicapped. I was like, dude, you are freaking amazing, no matter what. And then the feelings that you have, I know right from wrong. And
it was great.
Yes, he did such.
It was great. Teresa's like, whatever.
Like, bye.
I'm gonna just keep nodding my head until y'all stop talking about it.
Right. So I just looked up the trailer and I was like, okay.
No, Teresa, I'm telling you, I will never steer you wrong. I will tell you because there's some animes I just
do a watch party. I can watch it again.
I'll put it on the list.
Okay.
I'm telling you.
So when you're ready, you watch it together.
I tell you what, watch the first episode. If you don't think the first episode is good, I will cash up you $5.
Bet.
And I'll match her.
And I will not match it.
I am not. I don't have $5 to give away right now.
Times are hard. Hashtag inflation.
I will match those two. I will match Malachi and James. Okay? That's how much I'm telling you that I know that you will like this show.
Okay. Simone down here balling like she got Oprah money.
If I like it, oh yes. Yes.
It's on the list.
Yes. My ass is going to Japan for a photo shoot.
Word.
Yes. I'm treating myself.
Oh, really? That's exciting.
How come mine doesn't do anything?
Oh, that's cool.
I'm sad.
What's going on, James? What's going on in the background? Hold on.
I have no idea how I did that. I'm just
You lie to us. You have a premium membership, don't you? With StreamYard.
Oh yeah, because I'm like, between
You're logged in, right?
Yeah, I'm logged in.
Yeah,
so,
I'm not.
Yeah, neither am I. To Teresa, I'm telling you, I don't like anime shows like that. I'm telling you, mine was Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball Z. That was it. This show, if I can like it, you can like it.
Okay.
I'm telling you.
You know what, Teresa, just watch an episode in 5 minutes.
I got 10 anime you should watch, Simone.
Don't listen to him. He like weird stuff.
I'm not watching 10 animes, period. Anyway.
Oh, no. It's going to be stuff Simone's going to like, because if she got in through Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball Z, I can easily find 10 things she's going to like, all with women.
Simone. And I need to, because I'm trying to get into anime right now, do anime cosplay. So I need that.
Oh, that's fine.
You guys see the trailer? But
I got about 10. I got about 10 off the top of my head. We'll talk.
Look up Cannon Busters on Netflix. Cannon Busters.
Joy, don't. That was
Is that for me?
It's not a great show, but it's got some good potential anime cosplay.
Cannon Busters has some good representation. That's why I like it. It's the representation aspect of Cannon Busters.
The show itself is not that great, but the look, if you were looking for some different cosplay ideas, it's good art, good drawing. Yeah.
Okay.
But don't really watch the show.
No, I mean you could always go as her. I'm still planning that. I got to get my stomach in line so I can have a cutout in the middle.
Listen, her is every woman.
You can still do that, but you just do it with a nude color in the middle. That's what I mean.
You're right. I just need
to cut out a hole.
Yeah.
You put a nude.
You better do that.
Nude. You gotta cut your.
Give me a blue cat suit, cut a hole in the middle, put some water, some waves on it, and give me a long afro wig, and it's great.
So, the big hair is a must. You know this. It's a must.
I still got to upgrade my Queen Charlotte from last year, so I got to come.
Joy, that's what I finished watching. I finally finished watching Queen Charlotte.
Did you love
last night? It was kind of sad. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna lie. What's his name? Brimley.
Yeah, Brimley. Yeah.
When he was dancing by himself, I was like, oh, that poor thing.
I was prepared for it because somebody spoiled that for me on Instagram. So I knew it was coming. But even when I saw it, I was just like, oh, my heart. It's great. It's a great show.
Saying that they actually deleted a scene with them meeting years later. Current day. But, of course, there's nothing, you couldn't have a relationship back then because you could be hanging.
Absolutely not.
Right. It was, I enjoyed it. I loved, of course, the fashion was very in vogue. Mm-hmm. And I love the actress who played young Charlotte. She's adorable.
She is.
She's funny. She's witty. I liked her with George.
Yeah.
But I really liked young Agatha Danbury.
Yes.
Beautiful.
She stole the show a couple times.
She did. I did roll my eyes a bit when she started the affair with the crusty old white man. I'm like, girl, really?
Well, he wasn't different times. He wasn't crusty.
Yeah, I know. But I'm like,
and then look where she was coming from.
Right? I'm about to say who she was with was crusty and old.
Right.
That's who's crusty as old. Now that dude is a meme going around.
Actually, I made a picture of
him. Daddy, that's the photo that pops up. That's the meme.
That show, I watched Charlotte. I've never watched Bridgerton.
Yeah, I haven't watched Bridgerton.
Watching the Queen Charlotte now makes me want to see Bridgerton because then I'll understand all of the characters. He's like, oh, okay, I know who you are.
Queen Charlotte was actually the best one so far, in my opinion.
Yeah, it goes Queen Charlotte, Bridgerton season 1, Bridgerton season 2, as far as greatness. So I'm hoping that they do another season, they can kind of bring it back up, because having Queen Charlotte come now reinvigorated it a bit. But I mean, I stopped reading the books because they got predictable. So I'm hoping that they do something a little bit different. But I'm hoping they keep doing seasons, because it allows me to keep doing Queen Charlotte at Dragon Con.
Well, prayers, what did you say? Prayers,
sorrows, prayers,
prayers. Virgins to the left of me, boys to the right.
What did she say? She's like, your wombs are dry and juiceless. I was like, that is a read right there. I was like, that is amazing.
No children, and your wife is dead. Sorrows, prayers. She ain't cared about nothing. It was great.
Joy, thank you. I really did not know The Color Purple was a book, and I just got it on Audible.
Beautiful.
So I can listen, because I can't, I buy books just to buy them, but I have.
Speaking of books, I just want to show you guys.
So what you'll notice is the book is a bunch of, what do they say? It's an epistolary book, so it's a bunch of.
Who's that? Keisha?
Okay.
Keisha.
This is good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Keisha. Okay.
I love reading books.
This movie has made me want to get the Color Purple book to read. So
it's worth reading. But it's all every chapter is Dear God. Like the original movie, that's one thing they did take straight from the book, was her writing letters to God. And it's the book is told through those stories of her talking to God, which they didn't necessarily do in the play, but the character interactions are more faithful to the book in this movie versus the original.
Right.
Can I tell you what quote really spoke to me when Nettie was like, "Dear Celie, we are more than just kings and queens. We're at the center of the universe." Like, that took my breath away. Like, because we've always been and always will be.
Mm-hmm.
I will definitely buy the book just in case one of them happens to be at a convention, so I can get them to sign a book.
Oh yeah.
But other than that, I get Audibles, because I just don't have time to sit down and actually read a physical book. I have to listen to it.
What kind of books do you like reading?
Anything. I don't care.
I have some ideas.
Hang on. Should we end the show? We can keep talking off air, but
okay, yes. Thanks for tuning in, your hugs and kisses, show, prayers, all that good shit.
Talk about it.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, guys.
So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will.
If this the land of the free, it was a freedom then, when they annexed Hawaii and called it Cedar Lands, without any type of payment and no signing off. Called themselves the Republic in 1894. 1.2 million acres overtaken from the native Hawaiians. When they resisted, the West retaliated in violence and erasure. The Hawaiian language was banned as part of colonialism's plan to expand,
Stuck between a rock and a hard place. Multiple bombings of Kaho'olawe as a part of their ongoing war with Asia. Used it as a place for target practice. No consent or compensation. Colonizers call for annexation. No regard for all the locals. School will never let you know. So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will. Too many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will. We will.
So if we put Hawaii into perspective, well, Black and Asian history is interconnected. Considering the fight with the Pacific, then of course, versus Asia, they was treated as a middleman for war, but didn't let the Western colorism run its course, cause dark skin was a sign of dignity to core. The land was taken in the name of capitalism, when prior to it was an actual kingdom. Clap back at the system.
Stuck between a rock and a hard place. place. Multiple bombings of Kojo. As a part of their ongoing war with Asia, used it as a place for target practice. No consent or compensation, colonizers call for annexation. Network out for all the locals, school will never let you know. So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can keep history on the shelf, if we won't tell it we will. Too many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can keep history on the shelf, if we won't tell it we will. So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can keep history on the shelf, if we won't tell it we will. Too many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can keep history on the shelf, if we won't tell it we will. We